Hello and welcome to Flowing Through Film. This is episode 128, and I am your host Blake. This week we are continuing my series on Buster Keaton with The Navigator and Sherlock Jr. Two movies that came out in 1924, correct? 25? 24?
24, yeah.
Okay, 24. And then before we get into anything, let me introduce my co-hosts Luke.
Hello.
And Danny.
Hello.
Alright, so this week we're going to start with The Navigator because we want to end on Sherlock Jr. because, I mean, honestly, for me and Luke, it's one of our favorite Buster Keaton movies, probably.
It might be the best.
And I don't know what Danny thinks, but I know he loves it. I know he likes Sherlock Jr. a lot, too, but...
You better love it.
You better love it.
Cowards 4, you know. Cowards.
But yeah, we're going to start with The Navigator this week. So The Navigator, it's not personally one of my favorite Buster Keatons. I've seen it, I think, 4 times now.
Damn.
I still like it, obviously.
4 times.
Yeah,
4 times now. I watched
it's like seeing a normal length movie 2 times, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah. It's
It's
like
only
it's
an
just so
hour.
surprising. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's not this on the movie, but it's like it caught me off guard, you know.
No, there is something pleasing about watching this movie, just because in terms of symmetry, which we've been talking about a lot with Buster Keaton, this is one of his most symmetrical movies. Like, if you watch this movie, everything moves in like a grid. It's all like 90 degrees and 180 degrees, basically. Like, everything in this movie is
A
all
lot
like
of good
that.
sets. Too.
A lot of amazing sets, a lot of great long shots, and so, long takes and long shots with some just insane gags that go along with it. But I still can't quite pinpoint why I don't love it. There's sections of the movie that I just feel like don't work in general.
The island.
Yeah, the island's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
The underwater sequence, I think it's cool, but I just still don't love it. But before I get into any more thoughts, I guess, what did you guys think about The Navigator?
Yeah, I kind of basically I feel like I agree with what you said there. Like, it's like harder to like immediately pinpoint why I don't love this. I still like it because obviously I think the stuff on the boat's really good.
Yes.
And like his use of sets and everything are really interesting. I think maybe it's just like I think just the whole like narrative of it, he maybe sticks too hard to it perhaps, or like it kind of just runs out of steam. I feel like by the end, and like the island stuff's like just like kind of weird.
Yeah.
With like we'll talk about it. But,
Cannibals.
no, but there's some really good moments here. But like the boat stuff is like honestly, there's some insane stuff he does here, which it's really
How did
interesting.
you like it?
I liked it too. I don't know, I guess as we go through, we're all going to kind of see why we don't like it as much. I don't know, to me, maybe it's just like more predictable. Like Sherlock Jr., if we're going to since we're talking about both, like that one is like, you still feel like you have no idea what's going to happen in like every moment. Even if like, it still follows that same structure of like the second half, he's like way
smarter,
he's way smarter, but it does it through a dream.
Yeah.
It's just way different. Like it just, I don't know, it feels way more interesting what's going on. Versus this one is like I don't know, maybe it's just the girl, but like by the time you already see the girl at the beginning, you know he's gonna end up with her.
Well, yeah.
You know, that's why it's like, but like I don't know, it already feels like it's happened. Like even in the beginning of the movie, like even though if you know it's gonna happen in like Our Hospitality, like the way it happens is so insane.
Yeah.
You know, like it's still more fun to watch. This one, like I don't know, like they're just already a couple the whole time in a way, and then
It definitely feels like that.
yeah. I don't know, but there are like some stuff with the boat, and even like outside off the boat, like I liked like the like him coming out of the water is like really funny.
Oh yes.
I love like
it.
a
I love
monster,
that
like a
part.
sea monster,
Yes.
basically. No, and like then him being used as a boat later on and stuff. Just like there's still like a bunch of little moments as we're obviously going to go through. Just the story is not. Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe just the story, I guess.
Yeah, in
It
terms
just
of
doesn't. It's like compared to Sherlock Jr.'s, which is way more fun to
God.
watch as a story too.
It's just Sherlock Jr. is just really inventive, and it's just fun to watch. That movie, you can tell he's just having like fun making it.
Yeah.
The Navigator,
Well,
you
also
also
like
have
Sherlock Jr.
fun.
It's just like it's not. It has a narrative, but it's not really like that tied to it. I feel
The
like.
narrative of Sherlock Jr. is just, this is what movies are, man.
Yeah,
I fucking
it's-
love it.
Well,
It's
especially the last 10, 15 minutes.
oh,
it's like
yeah.
unhinged as fuck. Like,
I love
it's
it so
insane.
much.
It's insane.
But The Navigator, you guys all hit on, like, for sure things that I don't love about it, too. It's at the end of the day,
It's definitely worth watching.
Oh, no, it definitely is worth watching. At the end of the day, it is exactly like his other movies. I just think he's very good at this gag-based, like, cinema, essentially, like, flow, like, keeping these just stitching these gags together as he goes along, and making a coherent movie out of it.
Yeah.
And I just don't think The Navigator stitches those along as well as like most of his other movies, honestly. But we can go ahead and get into The Navigator. It opens up with the title cards. Our story deals with one of those queer tricks that fate sometimes play. Nobody would believe, for instance, that the entire lives of a peaceful American boy and girl could be changed by a funny little war between two small countries across the sea. And then it basically tells us something that the characters are never going to know in the movie, so we're already in on the joke, essentially, that they're going to be set adrift because spies are planning to set the Navigator adrift, which there's an amazing shot of them like opening up a window and just looking at the Navigator. I love that shot, honestly. Like, there's still amazing. There are going to be a lot of amazing moments in this movie. It's just, I do actually absolutely love that shot though. But then we have our intro to the actual father, who is the Navigator, and his daughter, and it's like it's a play on words because it's like the father who has just sold the Navigator and his daughter. So because it's like. Yeah, it's like he's not selling his daughter, obviously, but it's kind of like stitched together like that. So. But immediately after our introduction to them, obviously we get introduced to Buster Keaton, this time playing Rollo Treadwell, heir to the Treadwell fortune, a living proof that every family tree must have its sap.
That's so funny. Yeah.
It's a great line, and yeah, he's just shown as this rich spoiled brat, basically. Because he's served breakfast in bed, and it's a shot kind of reminiscent of like the spies looking at the Navigator, but he looks out the window and sees this happily married couple down below, and then he just looks back up at his butler. He looks at the picture of the girl and then looks at his butler and says, "I think I'm getting married today."
No, it's like funny because the inner titles are like, "I think I'll get married," and then like it pauses for a second and it says today. Yes,
and then the butler's like, "What the fuck?" But so after that we have this little interstitial of he had completed all arrangements except to notify the girl, which is it's just his character just thinks this girl is just gonna say yes to this, which leads to an amazing joke, obviously. But this leads to like his walk to her house, which is it's kind of just a funny sight gag because you think it's gonna be like this really like ridiculous like drive to get to her house or something because he's getting into a car with his butler and shit. Yeah. But he just like gets into the car and then they just like do like this little U-turn to like right across the street and he gets out and
it's
just
like
walks
that,
in the house.
It's like that scene in Toy Story that people always post to Twitter of the guy be like, "Oh, I can't have to go drive to work today." He just drives right across the street like to the store. I think it's from Toy Story like 2 or something.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
It's I'm pretty sure it's Toy Story. Too.
It's crazy how relevant that is, though. Like,
no, people post it on Twitter a lot. That's how I like remember it. Damn. It's like I think people post it a lot when Mikal Bridges got traded to the Knicks. You're like, "Oh, this is like Mikal Bridges today."
Like with American public, like the way our roads work, though, you kind of have to do that.
You have to hike in a mile that way to get around. Yeah, pretty much.
Like no sidewalks.
At least not our cities. No, but so once he gets to the girl's house, which takes 2 seconds, obviously, he walks directly in, and the first thing he says to her is just like, "Will you marry me?" And then she just says no. And I love like she actually says certainly not, I guess, but she says certainly not, and then he just like dejectedly just leaves the house immediately and just like walks back down to his butler, and the butler like opens the door for him to get back in the car. And he's like, "No, I think a long walk will do me good," and he just walks across the street back inside the house. But this right here is like this whole movie in literally a nutshell. It's just like both these characters, and honestly, not a lot of Buster Keaton movies, but both these characters are going to go through some shit, or basically like go one way just to go back the other way and just end up the exact same place that they started. They might be a little bit smarter at the end, but they're like, this movie is just like nothing happens, which is fine.
Like no growth anymore.
Yeah, no growth, there's not much character growth in many of Buster Keaton's movies, so it just carries along that lineage too. So
that goes what you're saying, like it's more about just like the
gags,
the action itself. Yeah, just like being able to appreciate it without like having to get too deep into like psychological intents of the characters and stuff like that, or
which probably
carries on with
for some. No, but there's something to that though. Like, he doesn't want you to feel too attached to like the characters. You know, like
No. And whenever we get to the ending, we'll talk about how they wanted it to end. But I mean, I'm sure you guys can probably guess how they wanted it to end. But
wait, after they're in the submarine
no, just like the actual ending.
with them dying, just
Yeah.
oh, okay. That would have been cool. Okay.
Of course, Daisy.
I think the submarine
Kill them,
ending's kind of
please.
cool. Like,
The submarine ending is just ridiculous.
it just comes
I
out of
love
nowhere.
it.
Like,
Yeah,
because like there are some
Daisy
things
loves
where
it.
like
Nice one.
he has to have a good ending, which that kind of annoys me. But it's like he like tries to pull it to the last second, like when's this good ending gonna go? Like you like have no idea how he's gonna
Yes.
pull out this good ending out of nowhere, you know.
It's just
There's good ways. Good endings. Like you can do that right.
But see, that's what I'm saying. When you go into a movie saying this movie has to have a good ending, regardless of what the story is, what the script says, or anything, it just feels forced most of the time. Because most of the time the stories don't match this good ending that they kind of get forced in the end. And that's my main problem with it.
Okay, that's fair.
And that is kind of why this one, even though I don't love it, still actually kind of works because it just is. And it's so absurd that it happens. like that in itself causes a laugh. Because the first time I watched Navigator, whenever that submarine came out, I was like, "What the fuck?" Okay, so I just started laughing. But back to the actual linear narrative. His butler is telling him that his boat leaves at 10 in the morning. To which he responds, "I don't get up that early, so I'll go aboard tonight." And then we just get like this whole sequence of both of them arriving on the boat because it's cut with the father and his girl also going to the same pier. Buster ends up going onto the wrong boat, we find out, because he's supposed to go to Pier 2. And then the gate opens and covers the Pier 12 to make it look like Pier 2, so he goes on the Navigator. That's how he gets on there. But then the girl gets on there, and she just arrives at the wrong time. Her and her dad do whenever the spies are trying to set adrift. But they end up both getting stuck on there, and so now that they're both stuck on here, obviously, this is where honestly I think this next section of the movie is a really great section.
Like where he's like,
yes,
basically
where they're
like,
trying to find each other.
Also, like he's just confused, like why no one's there too. He's just like
Yes.
walking around, like he's like wondering where everyone is. He's like trying to like find where food is or anything.
It's so
like,
good, dude.
like the dining hall. It's like so funny.
There's that part where he like walks out, a hat blows his head.
Yes,
the wind
dude.
blows his hat, and then he like walks back around, grabs another hat.
Yes.
like already ready.
So this is basically just like rich people's lives. I feel like for a lot of people, like
Even though he's not. Oh yeah, he is rich in this
Yeah,
one.
he's rich in
okay,
this
yeah,
one.
yeah, damn, that's true.
No, the hat gag is really funny in this one because it happens so many times.
Yeah.
But the one that you're talking about is hilarious because his hat literally just blows off and he just grabs another one immediately and puts it on. But yeah, like this is where like this symmetrical madness kind of ensues, like because they're both trying to find each other the next morning after Buster, like because the shots, I love the shots in these sequences because it's like Buster just sets it up in a way to, I don't know how they choreographed this, honestly. Like I don't know how long it took them to perfect this, but the fact that you're running around and hitting your mark so specifically that you're like running just at the moment that the other person arrives around the corner it's some insane shit, honestly, some insane timing shit.
And it stays like wide, like almost.
It
the whole
stays
time,
wide
basically.
the entire time, I'm
Yeah, the
pretty
entire
sure.
time.
Like there are some close wide-ish shots of like the corridors, but like whenever he especially goes back to looking at all three parts of the deck, that part is like it's so amazing, dude. Like I just love watching it.
Yes.
It's just amazing. It's amazing to watch. But like it's this like chance or fate basically that allows them to meet on the boat because Buster is on the top and she's on the bottom and he sits down on the little like pipe and then he just falls back and like falls down in there and then they see each other. And the first thing he asks is if she will marry him.
Again, this guy.
Yeah, again.
That's all I can say.
Hey, can't give up, man. Can't give up.
he's locked in.
But then we get like a classic just breakfast scene of just things that rich spoiled brats would never have anything. Like they would never know how to do anything themselves, basically, and that's what we get in this scene. It's just
Trying
it's
to
just
make
really
coffee
funny.
and stuff, buddy. Just like dropping the beans in one by one, like like yeah, surely it's gonna work. You know,
Surely it's gonna work. Well, everything they try, you're just like, oh my god, but because Buster is equally just terrible at everything. But it ends up. I like my least favorite thing is the saltwater coffee. Like that part is just like ridiculous because it literally makes Buster like go and throw up like overboard. But
just the thought of that is just like not good at all.
I know, man. But they do see a boat.
Your stomach after that? Oh. It's over.
It's already bad.
We need to do that for a punishment.
No, we do not. No, we do not. What?
Saltwater coffee with 4
Dave just wants to see us like
on
suffer.
podcast.
Dave just secretly has like.
You have to drink it before the episode.
No.
We all agreed. You heard it. No, that'd be. I don't know. Maybe.
Dave's gonna try something.
Yeah, Dave, you try it for us. Test it out for us.
He also tries to use like a knife on the can.
The cleaver also.
The cleaver,
like he uses a knife and a cleaver. He uses both. I like whenever he goes like he
drills a hole through it or something.
That was milk, but yeah, he does drill a hole through milk too. I like whenever he like brings the cleaver back though and like brings it down the can. It just shoots off and like knocks what she's holding off like out of her hands, but yeah, so that's a failure obviously. But they see a ship in the distance. And they're like, oh shit, we can like maybe this ship's coming to help us, and they're like, we need to signal it. And so they get a signal out, and I think the girl says like, here, use this one because it's like pretty. Yeah. And so he raises it up, and it ends up being a quarantine flag. So the boat ends up going away. Obviously, I do love the shot of Buster like rowing after it, like because he's got like the fucking Navigator tethered to his little rowboat. He's just like trying to row this thing, and it just
the way he like drops in the water is so funny. Like, nosedives.
Oh my god, yeah, man.
Yeah.
With him on it. No, but then after this we get a sequence of the movie this sequence of the movie I honestly don't like the haunted ship part. I think there's moments in it that work, but I don't think it works as a whole. But yeah, we have this night on the haunted ship now, where they both changed into their sailor costumes, which I kind of love. But
honestly, yeah.
And I do love the opening of this haunted ship scene because it's just like the girl sees this like weird ass painting of just like this old sailor just like, in her room.
No, I love this gag.
I love this gag. It's a great gag because she takes it out, and so like both of them are like getting ready to sleep for the night, obviously, and she sees this. Buster's like getting all cozy in his room. He opens up his window, and she's over here. She decides to toss her fucking like the painting just overboard. So she tosses it, and somehow it gets hooked on outside Buster's window, and it just starts swinging back and forth. And Buster thinks it's a ghost. And it's just like it takes like the repetition to like it does like the thing he does it in threes, obviously, where it's just like he's like it goes by once, he doesn't see it, then he like it goes by again, he like sees it, and then it goes by a third time, and he like freaking freaks out, and then it happens again.
To be fair though, if I saw that outside the window,
dude, I'd be freaking out too.
Yeah, the face is a good face they choose.
It is,
it's like the way it's staring.
It's a great one, but then like the rest of it's kind of hit and miss after this for me because it's like we have like the mistaken candles, which are actually fireworks, which. The fireworks come back later.
Those will come back later, which I like. He does do that too, which I like. Where like it's just like one gag he uses later.
He also, after he like gets scared by it, he runs out of his room with the sheets over him, and then she thinks he's a ghost.
Yeah, she thinks he's a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fireworks, but that will come back later, and that actually comes back like way better, honestly, in my opinion. But then we have like another gag that I actually like is the doors opening and closing. Like, and he's missing it every time until the last time, which freaks him out. That I really like, honestly. But then, and I think there's another one where like the
record
player. The record player, yeah.
So, like creepy. We're supposed to. This is where like honestly, like silent movies like trying to make you think of sound. You know, this is where like I forgot where we talked about this. We're like
we talked about it on Buster Keaton also.
No, but I was going to mention like how Bertolf was like already. You could tell he was already thinking of sound.
Autonomous sound, yeah. It was like mechanical sounds in movies, basically.
But I was saying more like you could see like in silent cinema they were already thinking of sound before sound.
No, yeah.
This is like an example of that. You know, where like you try to like make the audience like
hear it,
imagine sound.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. Like imagine a horror. I don't. Maybe they knew this song though. Maybe the audience knew this song.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's like
They probably played it in the theater, honestly. Whenever it was happening.
It's called Asleep in the Deep. So I have to see if it's look over.
And honestly, I don't even know if it's a song or if it's just like this like haunted little thing because
Well, why
it's
would
just
it-
like a haunted jingle. Like,
why would they have that? Like, I guess.
for the gags, Dan. You know what I'm saying?
But either way, it does freak them out because like it implied it's just, they hit it accidentally or something.
Yeah, that's what it's implied. It's just like the ship rocking itself and it like hit it. But yeah, they end up sleeping on the deck, or like they end up going to sleep on the deck because they're like, okay, this haunted ship down there is a little too much, so we'll go up on deck. And as the girl, so like the girl is laying down on her little like, I don't know what you call those, I guess just little like recliners or whatever at pool sides, but she's like laying on one of those sleeping, and while Buster's getting his set up, hers is just like, as the boat's rocking, going closer to the edge of the water. And then it saves her from that, obviously. But then they end up falling in a booth, like sitting next to each other, and just down below decks,
Play
and
a soggy game of cards.
Oh, dude, the cards. He hangs like he does like the close up of him like trying to play those cards.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. I hate it so much. It just makes me think of my hands afterwards. But oh god,
The way he also like smashes them together is so funny too. Like,
he commits to the bit.
yeah. He's really trying, you know. He's not like giving up at all. He's like really trying to shuffle these cards, like. But...
Yeah, but then it cuts to weeks later, and now we get them performing the same tasks, just way more proficiently and more experienced. And it starts with breakfast, and honestly, this breakfast set it's kind of flashbacky to like the Scarecrow breakfast setup, like just having a lot of these like pull down things to like help you along with like just menial tasks essentially. I do really like I just like watching Buster Keaton's mechanisms that he puts to work in his movies like this. But after breakfast they see land, and this is the start of probably the worst part of the movie. Like it starts to fall off for me because all of this stuff from here on out is hit and miss for me. Like it's just some great gags, some duds, but so they see land. And it actually opens up kind of funny because Buster is looking out looking out the goggles, and he sees like obviously cannibals. It's a little, I mean, maybe racist connotations, obviously, but
yeah.
But he sees cannibals, and he's just like, "We're safer on ship." So and then she's like, "But we're drifting towards them." And he's like, "Here, let me throw this anchor down here." And it's just this tiny ass anchor for this giant ship, but don't worry because the actual sandbank stops the ship. And then like. Before he actually goes deep sea diving, I actually find it even funnier than him actually deep sea diving because just watching him slowly realize that she's gonna ask him to do this is it's
well,
pure
first time she's
comedy.
like sitting in front of a suit.
Yeah,
like,
just sitting in front of it.
Yeah.
And then like she's slowly realizing it, and as she's realizing it, Buster is like looking at it, and he's like, and then he just like stares straight ahead because he's like, don't ask me to do this, basically. And then she's like, here, you can do this, basically. Yeah. And then she like hands
like instructions.
Yeah, she hands them the instructions, and it says instructions for deep sea diving. And then it just cuts to the title card where ignorance is bliss. And then it's just the scenes of Buster like kind of going down or getting prepared and then going down, obviously repairing this thing, which the underwater sequences, like I said, are really impressive. Like the way he did this, I think they literally just created an underwater tank for this. Yeah, and they were just doing this on set, obviously.
Probably the camera wasn't underwater though.
No, I don't think the camera was underwater.
Probably wasn't invented yet. Definitely not.
No, I don't think the camera was underwater. That would be insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely did this in an underwater tank. But yeah, there's just like a lot of gags down here, and while Buster's down here that I think some are funny, some are just like they're just like chuckles almost. And it's just, like, what do you guys have a favorite one? Or, like, I don't know, honestly, the one that gets the biggest laugh out of me is probably the swordfish, but...
That is funny. When he, like, takes the swordfish, yes, I like that one, too.
But meanwhile, while he's down there, obviously, like, trying to jerry-rig this fucking thing to, like, fix this leak, the cannibals are coming onto the boat. They come onto the boat and take the girl, obviously. And as they're taking the girl, they cut the air tubes to Buster's thing, and it just kind of slowly falls down the water. And Buster realizes it. This is where the underwater part starts to get really good because he's kind of like freaking out because he's like looking at it. He's just like, I guess all I can do now is walk. And so he just like starts walking away, and then gets like caught by an octopus. And he has like battle an octopus before. Yeah, it's just some random ass shit. But
yeah,
I kind of
like
like
battle
it,
behind
so.
the rock. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I honestly love his emergence from the sea, like you already said. Danny. It's this is like some B-movie sci-fi shit. I love this
Honestly,
shit.
yeah,
So.
it is. It really is. Or like some Hard to Be a God, like almost like
Okay.
that kind of idea of like just this random like if you didn't know what this was and it appeared out of the water all of a sudden, it would seem like a alien sci-fi or sea monster or whatever they assume, and they just run away. But this one's played more as a joke.
Oh yeah,
but it makes you think of that at least.
It's definitely played as a joke, but yeah, it does make you think about that too. I mean, it's definitely it has the vibe. It has the same vibes as
especially the suit.
when he's like taking the steps forward, and they're also like mimicking his steps, and he like waves his arms, and they all go. It's so funny.
Well, see, that's another thing where you could say like Buster's thinking of sound, because him going like just waving his arms like that, you put the sound with that, but.
Yeah, and like she's like scared too, and like she doesn't even realize it at first. Like that's him.
Yeah, but then she obviously does realize it's him, and she's like kissing his visor and everything for saving him, and then he lets her row them back to the boat. I love it so much. It's just I honestly don't know if this would even work, but obviously it did in this setting. So
I mean, it works for Keaton.
Exactly,
Buster Keaton can make it work. You know, if they need a boat, he can make it work.
But then getting back up on the boat, I do love whenever Buster Keaton, he's like, his suit's so like obviously full of water because he was kind of sinking under, and so he's just like kind of pulling himself up, and he has to stop, and he like takes his knife out, and he like performs harakiri on himself basically, just to like let all the loose water out. But
honestly, that looked painful too, like the water rushing, like he's upside down. There's a lot of water in that suit. I was like, damn, he got a lot of water in his ears on that shot. Like,
dude,
there's no way he avoided that.
Yeah, whenever they could actually get back up.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that must have hurt. Ugh, like just thinking about that.
It also just looks like you hit his head on the ground. So, but
like anything for the take.
Hey, as we'll see in Sherlock Jr. Yes, but the cannibals are coming back, obviously, because the leader of the cannibals is not a dumbass. So, okay, he figured out that he was a human. So now we have just this ending sequence of the movie, which is their defense of the ship. And this also is just kind of hit and miss for me, but it also does have some great things because the fireworks come back into play, and I love any ending with fireworks, honestly, because it's just fun. So they're just shooting off the fireworks, obviously, as the cannibals are trying to come back onto the boat, and this just has a bunch of like Buster playing around, obviously cutting a lot of ropes, just having a lot of pratfalls with a lot of people, which is fun.
Not only people though, the best ones with the monkey.
Yes, dude, the best ones with the monkey. Exactly.
I love this. Is like it's probably the most basic like joke you can do in a comedy routine, probably like throughout time of some guy walking like almost like too nonchalantly, and then they get hit in the head from behind and they like fall like they like fall like exaggeratedly, you know, like
I know
because when the monkey hits him, like the way he's like walking is so funny.
So good, dude.
It's funny because I rewatched The Bellboy this week. Do you remember the scene in The Bellboy when that guy slips and falls on the floor? That scene, that's exactly what I think of when I think of like people fall. I get like over exaggerating. It's like so funny. I'll show it to you.
That's what the falling, but like also getting hit from behind too. Like they're supposed to be acting like they don't know what's gonna happen, you know, but they're like over exaggerating, and then they get hit and they're like, oh.
Well, slipping is the same idea.
Slipping is the same idea because like in Sherlock Jr. he slips on the banana peel.
Oh, that was
after he sets
so
it up.
Good.
That
was so good.
Yeah, he sets it up and then he still slips on it. Yeah. No.
He has.
It's a good fall. Like good fall takes skill.
Oh,
in comedy for sure.
Oh yeah. Definitely. There's a difference between
that
good
Tati quote.
and
I can't stop thinking about it.
Greatest comic actor's skill lies in his footwork.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I mean, Keaton is like one of the primary.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, this monkey too is. Yeah, I just had to bring that up. It's like maybe
it's great.
Yeah.
It's great, and then it leads to one of the best shots, honestly, with Keaton like pushing the palm tree down. That's a great shot. Like they're like that. Because obviously that the chief that the tree lands on is a dummy, but that looked like it. Like if that like Jesus Christ, if that palm tree actually hit a real person, that would hurt a shit ton. But then we just have some more gags, obviously, with like the fireworks, and we have this mini cannon now all of a sudden, which is just kind of another fun gag for Keaton to just like play around with. But as as they're basically thinking that they've got this under control, we see from like a long take that the cannibals are climbing up the anchor essentially, and now they're actually infiltrating the boat. So Keaton and his girl just hide for a little bit, and then they like jump down into the water, essentially try to take one of the cannibals' boats before just like essentially giving up. Which is not something you usually see in a Keaton movie, obviously, because he's always forward-moving. But at this point, it's literally hopeless. So they give up. They're just both in the life preserver, or she's in the life preserver, he's hanging on behind it. And then she just, like, ditches the life preserver. They just give each other a hug, and then they sink under the water. And then it holds on that for a sec. It holds on that for, like, 3 seconds, I think, probably. Before you just all of a sudden, you see, like, the submarine just rise up above the water.
Right before their head's about to go down.
Yeah, right before their heads are about to go down.
It's like does he have... we just want to call it the boat, right? Without the short. That has a similar ending where, like, we think they're about to drown.
Yeah, it does actually.
They find out it's just like...
It's just like shallow water.
Shallow water, yeah. So,
That's true.
It's like almost the opposite. They're saved by submarine instead. It's so shallow water, but...
Yeah. And then we have just this little moment in the submarine where they go 360 turn a circle just to prove to us that they just landed right in the same spot where they began. So, one last time. But that is the end of The Navigator. And like I said, Buster Keaton and Clyde Bruckman, the main writer for this movie, they both wanted to have them die at the end. And Clyde Bruckman, he literally says like the movie basically ends there. But Buster was like, we can't do that. He's like, we're making a comedy here. We're not.
He's like, I'm the star, not you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take the hit.
Yeah. So.
But to be fair, like, this is like an early action movie too, especially the ending. Like,
oh yeah.
You know, with him and the girl, kind of like. I mean, you mentioned Pirates of the Caribbean as a joke, but that was before the episode anyway.
that was definitely before the episode. That was Luke saying that Open Season 2 is the Pirates of the Caribbean 2 of the Open Season franchise.
I wasn't going to mention why he said
I'll stand by it.
I'll stand by it. This fucking guy.
I mean, I'll stand on business here. Let's be real.
I mean, maybe a hint for what's coming. Maybe.
Oh my god.
Maybe something in the works.
Hopefully not.
But I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean, like, you know, this kind of like action movie on a boat, you know.
Oh yeah.
Fighting off a little. Like, I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean had like ghost cannibals, but like, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, Buster just loves water, as we've been talking about this entire series so far. Like, it's one of his favorite things in movies. His first character to like end up in a puddle of water at the end of the movie, basically. So. But yeah,
I wonder why they wanted him to die, like at the end, or that's like how they wrote the original. I mean, it doesn't seem like Keaton at all. Like, I could see why Keaton be like, no.
No, yeah. Well, Keaton said that he would have liked that, but he was like, we were making a comedy, so I wasn't gonna actually do that. But
they considered it anyway.
No, yeah, they definitely considered it because he said that was the original ending, was that they died. So
I just can't, based on what we've seen, is like I can't see him accepting that.
No, yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't usually go that.
Yeah.
That down.
Especially the way it's like going. The movie's going.
Oh yeah. It would have been interesting, but
like maybe if you don't have all that action and like it ends after like the haunted stuff, maybe something like that. All the haunted boat stuff, but
I don't know. But yeah, that is the end of The Navigator, and we'll take a short break before coming back with Sherlock Jr. Back from the break with Sherlock Jr., another one of the greatest movies ever made, honestly. No.
I mean,
honestly, yes.
But maybe we'll have to see though.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna. I think we're all in agreement.
But
it
is.
It's just. I'll get my just main opinion out of the way. This is just honestly what movies like. It's one of the greatest representation of what like movies are to an audience. Honestly, like. The way that we're able to project ourselves literally onto the screen, and the way that we're able to like just get so engulfed in a fake movie inside a fake movie.
Well, and then be able to manipulate it too.
Yes, dude.
Have like their ability to be manipulated by us without even we had no part in the production at all. It's just like through this like active viewing, which I'm was one of my big points about this. Which there's a filmmaker and a film that like. Now that I've like rewatched this, I'm like, there's no way he didn't think about this when he made it. We did on the podcast like early on.
Early on?
Celine and Julie go boating in Revette.
Interesting.
Wait, which part? The like, what are you saying is like Celine and Julie?
Like they built like the seeing the film and almost manipulating it to yourself, like for your own desires, or like I guess like
honestly
to your own imagination, and that's
because there's no
almost like
film
taking
going
control
on
in
inside the film.
No, and they're like they like kind of like realize it's going on. They kind of like take control of it too. It's almost this other world in a way that they manipulate for their purpose in a way. Like there's no way he wasn't like thinking about this. Like it's honestly like because I also you guys haven't watched it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it
because I rewatched it like this year,
and
and
that was one of our first episodes. That's crazy.
we need to. If
we started with Revenge.
We would need to do
with Revenge. Like we never came out.
Okay, we would need to do that again though. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I know so much more about Revette now because he's kind of like a recent obsession of mine. But
It's just so long, you know.
But yeah, you started. All right.
No, I mean you guys.
We're carrying on.
We do a whole series just that one. 5 episodes long.
Luke would never allow that. There's way too much. Way too many.
I'm just saying that one's like what 900 minutes or whatever. Like it's huge.
He has amazing movies.
No, I'm just kidding with the length, but still. Back to
he's not.
Keaton.
No,
but I didn't think about that, but like especially when this gets into the dream element, it starts making you think of all these kind of things. Like what's he saying about like how we project ourselves. Yeah, that's to me how I read it more is like even more so than just like I guess the audience, but like how the individual
the
projects the viewer.
That was what I meant by the audience. Like,
that's the same. It's the same thing. But I was just saying, like, because we see an actual audience in this. I'm saying more as just like Keaton. How we put ourselves into movies, we have to like almost identify with characters and stuff. And honestly, even the best part of the movie is the like the end too. The moment where he like wakes up, and realizes.
No, because that carries on the act of that we just saw from the dream, essentially of just like projecting yourself or your will onto the screen and like taking that will back, essentially, and like using what the screen is teaching you. But
which is like
But it's like that, no. But you guys can continue on with your thoughts if you want, because that was the main thing that I wanted to get to, and just the joy it is to watch this movie. Honestly, like it's just fun watching the inventiveness that he puts onto film.
I mean, as my review said, this is some next level shit.
It is some next level shit.
It's absurd.
It is. I mean, if you think about this movie in film history, like we're gonna get obviously to the point where he projects himself actually onto the screen. But this was the same year as Vertov's Kino came out. It was a year before Strike. People weren't really doing this montage shifting as Buster was doing at the very beginning of that.
Eisenstein's a Buster Keaton merchant?
Okay.
Is I'm hearing?
No, but it's just like, I mean, Buster's he's been this inventive as we've seen his entire career. Like, he just wants to push the scope of cinema, honestly, and just like test it, like see what he can do and what he can accomplish with it.
But he would never admit it, probably. Like,
no, he would never admit it. he literally wouldn't.
I was just trying to make a regular movie.
He was like, I was just trying to make you guys laugh. Like, he did, dude. But
like, come on, bro.
But
like, you had to have known. Like,
but at the same time, the ending of this movie really is a perfect representation of at least my viewing experience of like you're watching this guy, and then like the movie basically or like the movie that he's watching, Hearts and Pearls, cuts like after the kiss, and after he kisses the girl, it cuts to that like the ending with the babies, and Buster's just kind of standing there like befuddled, like confused. He's like, what the hell? Like, how'd that happen? But that's like what Buster Keaton literally does to us. It's just like we're watching his movies, and just with his acts of like editing and just fucking carpentry wizardry and just gag thinking ability just leaves us thinking like, what the hell, man? Like more often than laughing, like. But with that, I guess we can go on ahead and get into the movies if you guys don't have anything else to say about it. Amazing movie.
Sorry, I didn't know if anyone caught it.
Alright, so we'll go ahead and get in. There is an old proverb that says, don't try to do two things at once and expect to do justice to both. This is the story of a boy who tried it. That's basically how it goes, but and then they obviously introduces us to Buster and how to be a detective.
He's a projectionist that wants to be a detective.
Projectionist that wants to be a detective, and he's reading the book, gets in trouble by his boss because he's supposed to be sweeping up the theater. I'm sure you guys can relate. No, No, but all these characters in this movie, another thing that adds to this element of projecting yourself onto it is they're all nameless. They're all just boy girl chic. Like they're all completely nameless people. But so we get set up just quickly with Buster, and then it's immediately like kind of into a gag, and it's one of the amazing gag. Just the $3. Basically, this is like money gag. Like he wants to buy something that's $3. He only has $2. So he's just like all dejected, and he's like, "Oh shit, I only have $2." So he goes back to his job, starts sweeping up the trash, and then he like finds $1 bill in there. He's like, "I have $3 now. I could go buy this." And then what happens? The fucking lady comes and just like starts kneeling down in the trash, looking through it, and he's like, "Did you lose something?" And she's just like, "Yeah, I lost $1." And he's like, "Describe it."
Describe $1 is over.
What is the serial number on that?
Prove this is yours. But yeah, so he gives her that $1 because he's such a nice guy. So he's back down to the $2 he has, and then he's like, "Oh, okay." He's back to his like sweeping up his job, and then another lady comes, even like an older lady this time. She starts rifling through the trash as well. And he's like, "Damn." He's like, "Did you lose something too?" And she's like, "Yeah, I lost $1." And then he just hands her another $1. So now he's like, on this transaction that he started out with like $2. Now he only has $1. Yeah. And then the gag continues, obviously in the rules of 3, with this man walking up. And Buster just immediately sees him and gives him the $1 just because he's like, "Okay, I don't want to deal with you. Like I'll just give this to you." And he like tries to run away, and the guy just hands it back to him, kneels down in the trash, and like picks out this wallet with a whole wad of cash, and just walks off. I don't know. It's
and then right afterwards, like Buster, like he goes back in there.
Yes, he just looks all of his might. It's an amazing gag. It's just so seamless and so funny, dude. But this money gag kind of continues, obviously, where instead of buying a $3 or $4 gift like he was trying to, he buys a $1 gift, and then just draws in a 4 to make it look better. We've all been there before.
Smart, honestly.
Hey, we've all just.
It's funny, but this actually comes back to bite him later.
Yes, it does. It's a very well placed gag.
Yeah, that comes back later.
It's a very well placed plot.
So don't lie, kids. They'll come back.
Even white lies can lead to something terrible happening, like your love interest kicking you out of her house or something. But I love that he does that, and he literally frolics off to the girl's house, like he's just like skipping over there. But this scene in the girl's house it's as I've been saying this entire Buster Keaton series. It's Buster Keaton showing us his character essentially failing at tasks, only to set up later that he's going to succeed. So this is obviously the rival stealing a pocket watch from the dad. So he sees like Buster's in there with the girl or whatever, and he steals the pocket watch from the dad and goes away and to sell. And we know it's gonna be sold. He's gonna go sell it or whatever. But it cuts back obviously to Buster with the girl because they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's also funny that it's basically insinuated they're both like Buster and the love interest are both poor.
Yes.
Like,
100%.
It's interesting. Like, so I feel like usually it's like the other guy's like rich or something.
That's very fair, actually. That's not something I thought about because the chic in this is definitely he's acting like a rich guy, but he's just like a thief.
Yeah, he's broke as Keaton, basically.
Literally, dude. He's not from the First National Bank.
Yes.
No, but Buster with the girl, there's this really funny gag where he like gives her a ring. And she's like, oh, she gets like really excited. She looks at it. Then the diamond's like so small, so he gives her his magnifying glass to like look at closer. I don't know. I love that one so much.
Hey, I mean, the thought that counts. It's still there.
She's disappointed.
Okay. Yeah, damn.
Oh, but yeah. So after that, obviously, the rival he's pawned the pocket watch. And then he goes and buys the exact same $4 gift that Buster was wanting to buy, and takes it back to the girl. Gives it to her, and now it's this is where like Buster's setting up some amazing gags in these next sequences where it's like the rival's in the house with him, because after the rival's back and gives the girl like the box, they like walk through a doorway.
Right, it's like curtains.
Curtains. He closes the curtains, and then Buster goes and opens it up again, and then it's just a really nice shot, honestly, really nice symmetrical shot of us looking at Buster and also looking at the things happening behind him, obviously. But I mean, the banana peel joke is a classic, man. Like setting it up to make us think that it's going to be the other guy that trips and falls on it, just for like Buster Keaton to completely forget it's there and him trip and fall on it is just like A class.
It'll always be funny.
Always funny, dude. But yeah, so like after that quick little gag, we have the father walk in and someone's stolen his pocket watch, and after Buster hears this, he puts on like his like I think he like puts on like a hat or something and like takes out his book and starts like
he's
reading
like
it.
Clark Kent.
It's like wait, like the book's not that big. Like he's
Oh, it's
still
like
stuck on
this
his
is-
page. He's still stuck on
the
his
first
page.
page.
Like,
Hey, he's studying, all right.
no wonder he can only be a detective in the movies.
In his dreams, man.
But I love how the guy gets the idea just from the step one.
Looking over his head. Yeah.
Just looking over that, he's like, oh,
Search everybody.
yeah, search everybody.
And he just plants the receipt in Buster's
Yeah.
pocket. And so Buster obviously searches everybody. And the Sheik kind of just goes like, hey, we gotta search you too.
Oh yeah, it's always smart.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's definitely smart, but yeah. So the family obviously searches and finds the ticket, and then obviously it comes back to bite him in the ass that he wrote down the $4 instead of the $1 and lied about as a gift because it's like it matches up perfectly. So the family's heartbroken because they love Buster and they're like, I'm sorry, my boy, we never want to see you in this house again. And I do kind of like the rival is insane in this because he's literally like, as the dad's saying this, he's literally over there dusting Buster's cap off. Like he's like,
yeah.
he's like, yeah, dude, I just dusted you. Like fucking, they just hands it back to him.
That's so funny.
But,
Then we get rule number 5.
then we get rule number
Shadow
5.
your man closely.
Shadow your man closely.
This is good choreography here.
This is
It's
straight out of
insane.
vaudeville, man.
Dude,
Like,
it's
this
insane.
This is a vaudeville.
No, when the guy's like in front, like smoking a cigarette, tosses it back his butt, and then like Buster catches it and then smokes it himself.
So
It's like,
good.
oh my god, it's unbelievable.
And it's all on location too. Like this is all in Hollywood. So
Yeah,
shot
and also
on
the
location.
fact that Buster's like a lot shorter than him too is really funny.
It is, dude. No, there's some insane shit. Like this is also insane choreography. Like we already mentioned that in the Navigator, and we've mentioned that a lot in Buster Keaton, obviously. Like with the Navigator, with that with the insane sets. But this is just like another level of like mimicking that.
And then, like,
It takes a lot, man.
and then like
This
a
is insane.
train like is like comes in all of a sudden and like it's like I guess like Buster's like the connector between the two trains all of a sudden. It's like really
It's,
weird.
I mean, it's like that part is insane because it's like such a narrow window that he
Yeah.
had to be in to like not get hit by that. Basically, like
Pretty
I don't know,
much,
it's
yeah.
fucking it's insane shit, man. But yeah, so it leads to the Sheik eventually realizes Buster's following him after it's after the train part, and then like the steam like hits Buster. The Sheik kind of like looks behind him and sees him, and then like Buster kind of just like walks on by directly on the train, and the guy locks it behind him. And this leads to the point where Buster's gonna break his neck, obviously in the movie. He won't know it for years later, but but yeah. So like he climbs out of the train, like starts running,
Doing some like Tom Cruise, Mission
literally Tom
Impossible
Cruise
shit.
shit, dude. Like Tom Cruise owes it all to Buster, man. They all do, honestly, but literally running across the train top and then like jumping on the water tower, and then the water tower jettisons him right onto the ground.
You don't even see really him like hit the ground.
You
too.
don't.
It's like
There's
covered
too
by
much water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
And yeah, Buster said that hurt a shit ton. Obviously, I mean, like I said, he broke his neck, but yeah, he said it hurt a shit ton. But after that, we do get this like awesome title card of as a detective, he was all wet.
So he went back to his
So he
other
went back
job.
to see what he could do. So it was actually he went back to see what he could do to his other job.
Oh, yeah.
like it was fucking like
Damn.
like what can I do to this? but yeah, this leads to just like some of the most imaginative shit on cinema
Well,
at this
also,
point. So.
before that, like the girl goes to the
Oh yeah,
pawn
yeah,
shop,
yeah. This
too.
is intercut with the girl actually solving the mystery. She's actually so the girl in this one is different than a lot of other Buster Keaton ladies, as in she actually does something outside of what she's supposed to, as outside of like admiring Buster, because a lot of the times that's what they're there for. They're like us. We're just like admiring
Yeah, I mean,
the awe of
yeah,
Buster
can't blame
Keaton.
them.
So
Can't blame them.
exactly, but this one she actually saves him technically. So in the real world at least, but yeah. So this is all intercut with that for sure, where she actually finds out the Sheik is the one that stole it, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for the movie, man. We're here for Hearts and Pearls. That's the movie that Buster Keaton is projecting tonight. Hearts and Pearls, and it's a movie about stolen jewels. Very similar to what he's going through in real life. But as he turns on the movie, I love all these shots so much because we first see him like kind of looking through the porthole, and then it's just the camera through the we're just looking directly at the actual screen, and the characters in the movie look directly into the camera through the screen. Like I love it so much. Like it's and then they like turn around, and as Buster Keaton's falling asleep, like we get like his dream figure basically detached from his body.
Yeah.
And he's looking through and watching the movie still, and the characters turn back around after like a quick cut, and they're the characters from real life, and like he's literally like tapping himself on the shoulder, like, "Hey, wake up, man! You gotta wake up and see this." But
yeah, these shots are so good.
Because it's like it's in a way it's almost like it's like rendering like the idea a lot of films are like about like fiction and reality blending, but it's almost like rendering that like almost physical material. With like the screen basically, and like him being able to jump in and
literally
out of it.
jumping in and out of it.
So it's like almost like it's literally like literalizing it on screen. That idea
love it so much.
That's insane.
It is, yeah. I mean, like, I love how it starts with him just like sitting down watching the movie because at first he's like, it's almost like he can't believe it, and so he's just like sitting down and watching, and then he like runs up a little closer and sits down in the front row and is like looking at the audience. Did
you mention that like his mind basically like transforms the characters in the movie to
yeah, I mentioned like whenever like like the characters in the movie characters are looking directly at the camera, and then they turn around, and then there's a quick cut whenever they flip back, and it's their the people from real life again. But yeah, like he's looking at the audience, and then like as the Sheik on screen is starting to like try to kiss the girl, he jumps into the screen and starts fighting with him, and then the Sheik just throws him right back out, and it's some awesome shit, honestly. Like,
oh my gosh.
And as Buster's like trying to jump back in, the scene changes, and now he's in front of he's like jumped in, and now he's just standing in front of this door where this like
he basically starts like out. The movie starts setting him through all these different places. Basically.
It does, dude.
It's like every time he goes to take a step, it changes the background of the movie. Like, he's basically like making you think of the editing process.
He is.
Honestly, you mentioned Bertov in a way. It's like that. It's like, it's making you think about how movies are fake in a way.
It's showing you on screen, like Luke was kind of saying, like just visually putting it on screen, like this is what we're doing in movies. I'm just going to show you exactly how we do it, basically. So.
Like, literally him coming out of the projection booth, too, to do it.
It's so good, dude. Yeah, I literally have them all written down because I love that. Like, it works as just an inventive set piece, and then it also works because it's fucking funny as hell. Because we have, like...
Because it changes, like, a different setting every time.
Every time.
Which is, like, also another, like, almost like Bertov thing. And, like, cinema can take you to, like, every shot can take you to, like, a new place.
Like what was that movie called? 8 Parts of the World? Sixth part of the world.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, sixth part of the world. Yeah,
where he's showing.
Yeah, but that's exactly. But this idea, but he's like using it for like a joke, which is so funny too. Damn.
No, yeah. So we have so obviously he arrives at the doorstep of the dad. Then it cuts to just this like basically garden setting. It seems like where there's just this pot. And so he's sitting down. He's about to sit down in the pot, and as he's about to sit down in the pot, the scene switches to just this busy street with cars going by, and so he just sits down right in the middle of the street. Yeah. He gets up, is starting to like walk away, and he's like all like, "What the hell is happening?" He's like starting to walk away, and he almost walks directly off a cliff because he's just like walking this way, and then the scene changes to a cliff. And then as he's staring down the cliff, just looking down, the scene changes to lions, and he's looking directly at a lion, like looking right back at him.
Damn. Yeah, another Keaton lion.
Another Keaton. This one's real, though.
Yeah, the other one is real.
Movie magic.
Was it real?
Yeah, movie magic.
You tell me it was fake? But it looks so real.
But yeah, so we have the lion shit, which he runs away from, directly into the desert, where he almost gets hit by a train, and then he ends up after he almost gets hit by a train, he sits down on a rock. The scene switches behind him. He doesn't realize it. That switched to like an ocean setting, and so he's just sitting on a rock as waves just start hitting him, and then he gets all wet again.
And the fact this is all framed, like we can still see the audience.
Oh yes,
for this part, it's like we're watching now Keaton in a movie. Which we've already been doing, but now we're watching a different movie. You know, he's inside of another movie.
And like in a sense, he's in a sense is like now like
There's like 2 movies going on right now.
There's
Like,
2 movies going on.
It's kind of what I was
now.
saying, like, because like this whole like now that he's in the movie, he's like trying to figure out the mystery. It's kind of like a very
It's like
similar,
he's getting-
similar thing to Celine Julia Boating though.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like,
even
even,
that's
even
like
like
a mystery too that they have to solve. Like,
But it's like almost like it's like Keaton even showing us his own like formula,
Yeah.
like how like said the second half of his movies is he figures it out, but now this is like him showing us the second half how he
figures
how
it
the second half of the movie is almost like a construction too. It's a movie.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It just yeah. Once we start talking about dreams and like films within films, I get really excited. Like we talked about how Boone Wells said like dreams basically reveal like we know deep down
Our
dreams
desires.
reveal our desires. Like this
Yeah.
is this movie fits perfectly with that.
yes. Oh yes, it does.
But also like the desires like almost like this scene you can see his ways like even our desires are dangerous. Like he's still like struggling even in these moments. It doesn't mean like he has it all figured out.
No, yeah.
But I don't know. It just and honestly, just how good like I guess this one is more restored, the one on YouTube anyway. It
Yeah, I
just
think
looks
so.
so good.
Yeah, I mean this is one of the more famous ones. So
Yeah, so that makes sense.
It looks so good.
No.
No, yeah. Yeah, it's like this is his assimilation process in the movie, basically. Like he's getting acclimated to it, and because like we already saw the movie didn't accept him at the beginning, whenever the characters literally threw him out.
yeah.
And so now this is like the process of him being accepted into the movie. Because now after this process, the camera zooms in. It does
tracks.
Tracks.
Yeah,
I think it's a
tracks
tracking shot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
don't know if
doesn't
it's a
zoom.
zoom
It
or a
doesn't
tracking.
zoom.
Yeah, it's a tracking
Because
shot.
you feel the camera move.
Yes,
so-
dude. Oh man, that's so good because it
Yeah.
literally goes through the porthole that
It's
we've
so
been watching.
simple too.
Oh,
Just like
yeah.
my
It's
god!
beautiful.
Like nowadays it would be like 14 shots of like some like crazy zoom in. Just so
Are you talking
easy.
about the killer?
No. you thought of that? Damn.
Damn,
Hey,
it's
the shoe
projected.
fits. No, there's nothing there's anything close to this inventive in the
Oh,
killer.
no.
No. We're talking about the 2024.
Oh, actually,
Yes,
no,
that's the 2024.
You could probably make a connection between this and Labyrinth of Cinema too, of like the characters going inside.
You
the
can make a
screen.
connection between this and like any of Oshima's, or not Oshima's. Obayashi's movies.
But there's like a
honestly.
long we've talked about multiple movies that have this kind of setup. Like even Asteroid City, the kind of
Well,
maybe not exactly going to a movie.
I was saying Labyrinth of
but-
Cinema. Literally, the narrative is they literally go through the
Oh,
screen and
they go
like,
through the
experience
screen.
like Japanese history through like movies. Basically, it's a insane movie. Oh my god.
It is.
I feel like we've done some other movies where they go into a movie too.
Well, Celine Julia Boating is what the
Oh.
other one that's like.
That one is like
Oh, it's like very similar.
they go into a movie.
or into a narrative of a story.
Yeah, that's
it's
different.
Alice in
But a
Wonderland.
mystery. A mystery.
It's
though.
Alice in Wonderland.
But it's okay. But it's obviously he's making that connection to film. It's like very obvious. It's not like
Okay.
it's like so
Well,
obvious,
yeah.
dude. Oh my god.
That's why I mentioned Asteroid City too. Like this idea of going to a story, going to another story.
Yeah.
That's also common. But I'm
Asteroid
saying
City's
things specifically
definitely
in
a lot
film.
like this, actually, for sure.
That kind of could see, but yeah. I guess this one's different because it is like the same character. I guess in both. Like Keaton is the one kind of crossing over. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Opening night. You know, that's like theater.
Is there a
like,
dream? Oh yeah, that.
Because we remember we compared Asteroid City and Opening Night on the podcast.
There's
so.
a ghost in Opening Nights.
But yeah.
Okay, but to go back to the movie.
Yes,
But now he's back.
specifically.
Now we're in the
Now we're
Sherlock
in the
Jr.
movie.
movie.
Yes, now we're in the movie and the movie.
Fully. He's
Fully,
he's
yes.
He's in the new world.
Yes,
Rocking
Sherlock.
a top hat.
Rocking a top hat. He's on the case of the stolen pearls, you know? So,
I love his introduction too.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Well, also the
The
introduction.
hand on the glove. We'll always see is the glove hitting the door first.
Yeah.
And
Also
close
the little like the very like seamless like introduction to all the traps they're setting in. It's like
Yes.
so like simple.
it's so simple, so effective.
It sets it up
too.
so well.
It's so simple and so effective, and they all pay off.
Yeah.
Like, all the jokes pay off with those. Like, it's so good.
Insane.
But it's like almost like I'm just saying this introduction though. It's like almost like Bressonian with like just the hand.
Just the
Yeah.
hand, the
It's like-
Brazilian hand.
With the glove too. It's like all we tell. Oh, now like we've already seen him like now he's in the dream, but like just that glove like even shows us like okay he's a pro now. Like
Yeah.
that's all we need to know is like this is a
Yeah.
different Keaton than the one we just saw like earlier kind of.
Yeah, he's like confident and stuff.
Yeah,
He's,
yeah. It's like the glove. It was like the glove all you need. And like the way he even puts it on the door is like so it's like so smooth and stuff. Because like the way he rings it. But.
It is. And he's sizing everyone up, obviously, whenever they immediately arrives. But, Yeah, like we've already had all these gags set up that we're about to see with the Sheik and the Butler essentially setting them up with like the there's a chair, a trigger like a weight trigger chair that triggers a axe falling down to like decapitate you.
Yeah.
There's a 13 pool ball that is explosive. Really funny that one.
No, the shot of him just like throwing it out to test it out is like crazy. It just like explodes. Yeah.
And then the guy just like tosses it up in there and he gets all freaked out and shit. But yeah, so like we see they're trying to kill him. Obviously, they're trying to kill Buster, and they're trying to do it in a lot of ways. First is with poison because he's just they're inviting him to a game of pool, obviously first, but on the way to the game of pool, he's offered first a seat, which he almost sits down in before just standing up and not doing that obviously and talking some more. But then we get the poison, obviously, like the guy pours the poison in the shot, and offers it to him. Buster says, "Okay, I'll take it." And as he's about to like down it, he sees the guy like watching him, and he's like, "Here, why don't you have this one?"
Dragon in vibes. There's like multiple instances.
Multiple instances of Dragon in like that.
It's like happens like 3 times in the movie. Like
100%.
Oh, it's cool. I mean, it's like this like type of situation never gets old though. Like
no, it doesn't.
The mind games with like poison and stuff. Like it's always really interesting.
It's really fun to watch always for sure. But then it gets to the actual like best gag in this part of the scene, at least with the pool shots. And this shit is just awesome. Like I just love watching pool, and Buster Keaton's just like
I'm assuming the amount it takes it had to get without this 13
Well, some
ball.
of them are, like it looks like the ball's on a string or something. Like
has
whenever
to
it goes
be. They
around,
have to
it's
be.
like
I mean, there's a way to do that,
dude.
obviously in pool, but
Okay,
not
he's
like
not,
that.
right?
Not like
Honestly,
that.
though,
No,
I
some
don't
of, they're
know.
like he's
One of the funniest parts
is
is the
trick.
beginning when he initially shoots it to break it, and they both run out.
Yes,
of the room,
they both run out immediately.
Like book it, like it's. So
I mean, the entire time they're both outside the room, basically.
and the
It's
butler's
so funny.
like hand signaling like what's happening on the. Oh, it's amazing.
He's just like he's going around. Now he's going over.
He's like, I don't know.
But like we did miss there, like Keaton saw like he's onto their game because he did see in a reflection shot. At least like we didn't see it, but like Keaton's looking in a mirror as they're messing with the like 13 ball over there, and then that's how he knows that like the 13 ball is there's something going on with it. At least he doesn't know exactly what yet, but. If he did, we don't know if he would have done this honestly because he did get kind of scared whenever he shook it later.
Like this is so funny.
Just going around, yeah, dude.
It's just like his face too. I don't think is there any intertitles this whole time? Too?
I don't think so. Not in this one.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, but yeah, like they're shocked, obviously, and I do love it whenever like the guy comes back in to like shoot his shot and misses, and then Buster shoots it again, and the other guy just like runs out like really fucking scared again. But yeah, like he just like after he finishes it, he just walks calmly by them and just like out the door, and they're like, what the hell? But it cuts to this title card of by the next morning the mastermind had solved the case with the exception of locating the pearls and catching the thief. Like so basically he knows who did it, but he doesn't.
Well, the butler accidentally drinks the poison too.
Yes, he does. Oh yeah, because the guy sits down in the chair, and then like the butler drinks the poison. Yeah, let's spit it out though. He's alive, so sadly.
Exactly.
No, but after that little air tile, we get introduced to a sidekick for Buster Keaton, Gillette. I kind of like this guy, honestly. He's got.
Is he the butler?
No, this isn't the butler. Gillette is the assistant to, like, he's like the Watson to Sherlock, basically.
Oh, okay.
Like his assistant, because they like. It's kind of insane. Like he gets introduced real quick, but yeah, Buster. It's like he's introduced really quick. We don't know why. We just know he's an assistant essentially. And he like gives Buster his like hat and cane and everything as Buster walks out, and he walks out and sees the Sheik, and the Sheik's driving his car, which leads to this is like kind of a crazy thing because like he's tailing the Sheik again, and another like phenomenal instance of him doing the same thing he was doing before but like better this time. This one is like the Sheik sees him, he locks Buster up in the in the building. Buster climbs out the top, and as the Sheik's driving away, he grabs onto the railroad crossing and uses it to like
I
drop
love
right
this
into
shot, dude.
right into the Sheik's back seat and just like props his
Crazy.
feet up and is along for the ride. And I'm just
Like,
like
I think there's one cut, like, after he goes all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
The cuts when the car goes. I'm pretty sure. Because I went and watched it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane.
it's just insane stuff, man. Like, oh my god.
Ugh.
But I mean, that's something you just literally have to see to believe. But so like the Sheik obviously doesn't know he's in there because how would you expect someone to do something like that? And so he takes him directly to his hideout, and at the hideout we see Gillette again, and him and we basically see the Sheik walk in. We see Buster and Gillette start to plan what Buster's going to do. And I love the way this is just framed in general because it's a very long take of Buster just like a long shot of Buster setting up his escape route with like this.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is at this point. It's just like a circle, and he just puts it on a window.
Like a canvas or something.
Yeah, it literally looks like a canvas, and just puts it on the windowsill, and then he just goes over to the doorway and starts whistling. And inside the house, we have the Sheik and the butler and everyone with the pearls, and they hear Buster out there. And so they pull him in and lock the door, and they think they have him red-handed, basically. Yeah. And I love these shots of just like, we have it, obviously them inside, and then it kind of cuts to outside. He takes the wall away so that we can see the process of what's happening. Like it's very interesting. Like Buster Keaton loves to show us reality while also making us know it's like not real. Like Sherlock Jr., like we're watching a movie in a movie. He's almost trying to make us forget that moment at this point. Like he's wanting us to get so invested in the story that he's telling inside the story that we forget it. And this is like a really good way of doing that, honestly, just showing like a real process of something happening like this, honestly. And also everything in the dream sequence is actually shot on location in Hollywood. So it's like everything in the dream sequence is actually a real location too. So so he's kind of playing around with it a lot. But I do love that the shot of just like us looking inside the house. The Sheik's literally like dangling the pearls in front of Buster. He just yanks them and jumps out the window through that canvas and is just automatically made up into a dress looking like an old lady. And you're just like, what the hell?
Man, it's absurd, yeah.
I don't understand it. There has to be a cut somewhere in there, I'm pretty sure. It looks seamless, though, honestly, whenever you watch it. It's fucking
And then
insane.
he immediately gets, like, found out, though. Like,
Basically, yeah.
Well, no, they ignore him initially.
They ignore him initially.
Like, this is like
There's one guy,
this like seems like
basically.
something Batman would do.
Yeah.
You know, like if you saw it in like a Batman comic or something. Like,
No, but like when he's like walking down the street though, and then like the guy walks
the
by him,
guy
he's like
sees
taking an extra long look at him, like.
But just like the payoff too of finding out what that canvas is, because you're like, damn, like
Yeah, you're like, why
you
is
forget,
that?
and then I forgot about it once he was inside the room.
Yeah.
And so then when he jumps out, I'm like, damn, that is good. And then he kind of sets it up because he cuts to that wide shot, and we're, like you said, we're seeing inside the house. Even though it's like, you know, that he basically takes the wall away so we can see inside the house.
Yes. Yeah.
He's basically setting up like what we're about to see. But like you said, like even if we know we're about to get the jump, the dress makes it even more insane. Like, yeah, just kinda,
You could never
like
expect what would happen next.
yeah,
If you were watching it for the first time, you'd be like, what?
The jump alone would be creative enough. Like that's like you mentioned Tom Cruise. Like that would be in like a Mission Impossible or something. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, we're watching how he's gonna escape, but we don't know exactly like how he's gonna escape. You know, he's like going to a situation we don't know how. That kind of like spy, like where we trust the hero that he knows what he's doing. You know, like
Yes.
a competent hero, like that kind of action movie. This feels like that.
It does, dude.
And like in a comedy, it's just like that's why like you know a lot of people call him like the first action star or something and stuff like that. But it's like scenes like this that make you think of that.
Yes, dude. It's just it's amazing, man. I don't know how he thought of this stuff, honestly, and how he made it work, dude. Like, I mean, like the next one that we get to is what everyone I feel like most people know this scene if you are on at least like social media at all, because it's just like a GIF that people post all the time of just like he's running away from everyone. He runs to a dead end. We think it's a dead end, but Gillette's there obviously, and he's there dressed up as a woman with just this like suitcase on his chest, and you're like, what the hell is this? He's standing in front of a wall. And he's pointing at his chest to Buster like, here, jump through here, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then Buster just dives right through his chest.
I've seen people
Yeah.
explain how this happened. I still don't understand it.
It's fucking insane. So it's basically the
The guy,
he's literally he's
reclined
basically he's on an incline or something like that. Like he's basically suspended. He's suspended. That's what it is. He's suspended in the air. There's just that like thing that Buster jumps through. It's just a hole right through there that closes after he jumps through it. Whenever because after Buster jumps through, there's a mechanism that like clicks essentially to where the guy falls down. Because you do see the building like after Buster jumps through, you do see like a little like shake of something like falling and connecting there whenever the guy does walk away. But like it's still just insane. Like
if you're watching it for the first time, without rewatching stuff, it just happens so seamless.
Yeah, I mean a lot of this movie, like we've already been saying, is like illusionary. Like it's dreams as reality, and this is just him making magic. Like a lot of the stuff we've been talking about, this is just like actual movie magic. Like you're like, what the fuck did he just do? Like this is magician shit. Like like literally disappearing through someone's chest. You think, but yeah, I lost my spot because I forgot. But so it leads to the final. So that leads to the final chase. So like he does lock the two guys after him inside that building after he escapes, and
the reveal of that stuff finally went turns around.
Oh yes, dude, it is so funny, and it kind of like makes you like gives you like a sense of satisfaction because he's been locked in a couple places already by the bad guys, and so he gets to do it back to him, but then he gets chased. He does like immediately get chased by the last guy, but this leads to like this last section of the movie, which we've kind of had this before, where it's like Buster against the elements, although this element is not. It's just like kind of just like forward momentum in general. Yeah. But this one is just insane as well, where he's kind of just. I have it in my notes as Buster is swept along by the sheer will of forward momentum, because Gillette rides up on a bike. A cop motorcycle. He's dressed up as a cop now. This guy's amazing. I love this man as well. Like he's just like dressed up as all these different fucking things, like coming to Buster's rescue. But he's just dressed up as a cop riding this motorcycle. Tells Buster to get on the handlebars, and so Buster does. And then they're just riding along on these handlebars, go over a ditch, and the cop falls, or Gillette falls off. That's actually Buster that falls off because the actor didn't want to take the fall, so Buster was like, "I'll do it."
Damn.
So that was actually Buster that took the fall as well. But so this leads to Buster just being on handlebars all by himself for the rest of the movie, essentially, until it ends, or until like we get out of the movie within a movie almost.
So is this chase scene good, or is it like that? So.
That's alright.
This isn't really a chase.
It's not really a chase though. Like you said, he's just carried around. He's not. Yeah, he's just carried by the forward momentum of progress.
Yes, like
it's not really a chase.
He's our kinetic hero. He has to move.
Yes. Gotcha.
Alright. He said chase.
I can still like the scene.
He said chase.
Still like this.
No, but like it's almost like POV shots when he like turns around. When he's like turning around, he's like freaking out. It's like
before we get to that part, there is like we have to talk about him going across the train track and then across the intersection. Because there's a lot of crazy shit that happens in this. Like, all this shit's insane. Like, he's going through traffic all the fucking time. Yeah. But after a certain point, there's a moment where he says, like, be careful or one of us will get hurt. And then he, like, goes through a little bit of, like, that tug-of-war team. Oh, yeah. Starts hitting, like, just his insane shit of just, like, this broken bridge that he miraculously crosses because, like, two trucks happen to come by at the same time. Then a bridge falls and connects to a cliffside, so he seamlessly goes over that.
My favorite is just the random like tall ass tractor that he like goes under.
I do love that one, dude.
Like,
it's just like you're like, oh man, he's about to die, and then it's just like, oh, what the fuck?
Like, I guess.
But right after that, I'm pretty sure he literally says, "I never thought you'd make it," and then it's just this tracking shot right next to him.
This is an insane shot
of Buster covering his ears because the train's coming. The train barely misses them. You have
to have a death wish at this point if you're doing this.
Honestly, man, because he goes past the train and then past the car and then looks directly at the camera, and I love it so much.
With how close he is to doing that, like, you're like, there's no way, like, there's how do you like have a safety measure there? Like, you literally are just like.
You're believing in math so much. You're believing in like your mathematics so much that you're not gonna die.
Yeah, like. Oh my god.
But man, that him looking directly in the camera just always like I love that.
He's
part
like,
so
yeah, I know
much.
this shit's cool.
I mean, honestly, dude,
I know
not
this
for
shit
real
was
though. That's pure movie magic, man. But it's after this moment that he realizes no one else is on the bike, and I do love that POV shot of him realizing that.
That's what he looks like. He's like confused. He's like, oh shit.
He's like, oh shit, what is? How long have I been doing
It
this?
took him that long to realize.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, dude. But after he realizes, like, it cuts to the girl to the girl again because there's a heavy implication of a rape about to happen. Right before Buster on this careening motorcycle comes through the window or through the door or window or something and just like fucking kicks the guy. This actually happened. This happened to Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Damn.
Do you remember that?
The Cinemax through line.
Whatever it's at the very end, whatever his name, Ricky, like breaks through the door on the motorcycle, and the motorcycle like runs into the guy.
They study their masters.
I literally just thought about that, but yeah, like yeah, he arrives.
it's kind of like crash ending. Yeah,
I love it so. I love it, dude. But as he does that, the other like the Sheik's arriving as well, and they're like,
so it is a chase scene after all.
Well. I mean, kinda, yeah.
Well, it's not a real chase because it's a dream, and this is.
Okay, no, you can't. No.
And how this scene ends.
It's still a
how
chase
this
scene.
Chase ends is how I wish more chase scenes would end. How does this chase end?
I gotta remember.
They basically die.
It leads to the
they're
floor.
basically drowning.
It's
yeah.
not. Yeah. It's
how he
very,
wanted
like,
the- it's how he wanted the Navigator to
one.
end.
Yeah, because it's like. The final chase is Buster. They're obviously like he throws the 13 cue ball at the people behind him. It blows up their car, and then they're coming up to a cliffside. And this is a new invention around the time, the 4-wheel brake. They had to have that like warning because people didn't know about it, or like it braked a lot faster, obviously because it's a 4-wheel brake instead of just 2 wheels. But so she's like, pull the brakes. They pull the brake. The fucking brakes. The bottom of the car stays there. The top of the car just goes completely off.
We've already seen that once.
We already have seen that in 1 week.
1 week.
That was actually reversed though because the top was connected still, but the bottom went off. But
and then we've also seen what movie was it where the car turns into a boat and he just like keeps going with it once it like hits into the water. No, it's one of the Keaton
Oh,
movies.
never mind. I was thinking
watched
something
it.
completely different.
no, that was
And he turns it into, like,
Our
a-
Hospitality has that, but it's not a car. It's just another object. It's like a random object. It's like a cabinet or something. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. He just turns into a boat.
No, he does this a lot though. Like, because the bathtub also turns into a boat.
Yeah. Just using an object for something else, basically, to keep it. You know, he's
Keep
always
it
got to
moving.
keep moving.
Always gotta keep it moving, man. But yeah, the boat slowly starts to sink, and as he's about to drown, he wakes up. He wakes up to himself just swimming,
he's
swimming in the
swimming next to
protection room. But yeah, like this is where the movie like really it ties a nice bow on it. This is a great ending to like just an amazing fucking movie where it's like the girl walks in, basically says, "I'm here to apologize because we figured out like you're not the one that stole the pocket watch." And
But you kind of skipped over basically my favorite shot in the movie though.
him looking through the
Yes,
portal
like it's right after he wakes up and then he looks through and
sees the movie.
he sees that it's just a movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, honestly, you could have ended the movie there because like that's kind of it hits the whole point of like this idea of like movies aren't reality in a way, you know, as much as we want them to be.
Yes.
Like and that's kind of why they're dreams, you know, as like how we want our dreams to be reality too. And like that face he gives, because it made me think of you know, we haven't actually read the Wells quote yet, but hold on, I have it pulled up of like what Wells said about.
I think I mentioned
where he
it.
said, "A lovely person, a supreme artist. I think one of the most beautiful people that was ever."
No,
born."
I think I brought that up.
Okay, but like when I saw that when his face in this close up is like so good, it just made me think.
Well, no, I also love it right after too because like he's seeing like they have like if the people on the street have family now and he's like looking at the girl like he's getting ideas now from cinema.
Yes, no, that's why I like. That's
what
why I
was
love
gonna
it.
mention. Yeah, after she comes in,
yeah.
and then like with the kids, what he sees on screen. Yeah.
Because that's another moment of like the character realizing that even the movies aren't like you can't replicate everything in the movies, obviously.
Well, and then
because like
also-
the movies can cut.
And even
years
despite
of
their fakeness, they do like
They
they are useful to reality in
They
some
do.
way. Like that there's something connecting them in a way.
That's why I mean we've talked about this a lot through our episodes, but they aren't reality, but they're real.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, you know, there's something real about them.
Yes.
the feelings we get are real.
Yes, yeah. But
yeah,
it's a great ending.
That was the end of Sherlock Jr. and it's one of the greatest movies ever made in my opinion as well. But Buster has quite a few of those, honestly, for me.
Is it your favorite Buster?
It's gonna be hard to do a ranking at the end. This is where like Danny's
better pick
PR
one. You better
really gets
pick
me
one.
because it's like
No, don't go to this side.
like
Don't go to this side.
one week Steamboat Bill Jr. and fucking Sherlock Jr. are literally I can't choose. Like they're just all perfect. Like to me, but yeah, with that we will go on ahead and end this week with what are we gonna do next week, Blake? I don't fucking know yet.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, you don't know yet?
No, I got my outline. It's 7 chances and Go West. I beat you.
7 chances.
Well,
7 chances and Go West. So one of these I love. Go West. I've already said a few times how much I love it. But 7 chances I'm excited to watch again because I didn't love it the first time. I guess Danny, I don't think it's gonna love 7 chances. I'll just say that. But
I'm ready to watch.
Wait, how long is it?
it's only an hour.
I'm ready to watch Buster Keaton and Animals. Really.
Yes, dude. Go West is so good. I hope you love Go West. But...
Hey, it's promised to 7 laps a minute for 7 chances.
I fully expect Danny to come in not liking that movie. If he proves me
No,
wrong,
you
I'll
only-
be very surprised.
you only
I'll be
gave it
very
3.5
surprised.
too.
Yeah, you only
Yeah, it's
gave
not
it-
one of my favorites either. But we will get to that next week, I guess. So until next time, we hope to see you all floating through the clouds.